There we
Okay. One thing that will be interesting, I just thought of is typically I rely on watching everyone else sign before I move on to the next one. But since Alexa's camera's not working,
go. Okay,
uh,
well, I'll do it, and
okay.
then you can.
And I'll follow through that. But Alexis, no, you are totally fine. No worries. But I was gonna say, if we go too fast, slow me down. I can like if I don't have like a pacer like that, like someone to to pace me, I will just keep going. So you are totally fine though. No worries. But okay. So the first sign we're going to do is the sign for animal. Okay. So the sign for animal is you're going to have your kind of bent flat hand puppets, is what I say. You're going to put them above your armpits. You're not going in, you're going right above. And then you're going to bounce it back and forth. It's like you're flapping your wings, but you're not going like full flapping. They're just little animal. Okay. Then our next one is going to be the sign for pet. This is for both pet, like I want to pet that dog versus pet, like I have four pets. It's the same sign, and it's pet, 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 pet. Then we have the next one is dog. Now with dog, it's a little awkward to explain through camera, but basically what you do is you pat your leg and come up in a snap. Dog, 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 dog. Now, sometimes with this, some people will do dog, like they'll just bounce their middle finger off their thumb really fast, dog. Um, but typically this is what almost like this that faster, like not lazier, but shorthand sign of dog. But the big one is pat your leg and flick, or pat your leg and snap. I don't know why I said flick. Dog, dog. Okay.
I have a question, Jillian.
Yes.
So if I was lucky enough to remember the signs and I was able to say I have a dog,
Mhm.
does it throw somebody? Because it seems to me the easiest thing to do might be to do the big gesture the first time, and then
Mhm.
the second time, or, in that conversation to just do this. Is
Mhm.
that weird to change signs, or do you see
No,
what I'm saying? Like, I would
I
think
don't.
I would do that just to make sure, like, we understand I'm doing the sign for dog and
Mhm.
not like a number or something.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've actually caught myself in the middle of a conversation, literally changing my wording of things or changing like a sign of something, like exactly like that, where like I start with dog and then I say, like, okay, well, these two are dogs, this is a cat, this is a cat, whatever. And then I say, well, my dog, I've done that before, kind of that similar thing. I think as long as they understand you're still talking about a dog, you're fine. If they did get kind of like thrown off, and they usually, the thing I love is that if they do not understand you, they're not gonna just sit there smiling and like most time, they're not gonna sit there smiling and nodding their heads at you. They're gonna like look at you and go, "What? What'd you say? Like, I don't understand that." So they'll ask you questions so you can elaborate better. So being like, that's when you can go back with that dog sign, so that way they know you're talking about it. But yeah, I've caught myself multiple times where I will like change the signs I use or the wording. Same thing as like yesterday. Like when we've talked about when we did our time, and there's yesterday and yesterday. I did that literally today, this morning, because that's one of our vocabulary words. And I would go yesterday, and then I'd be like, well, yesterday, or I'd flip them back and forth. And as long as like they know that you are still talking about that same word, it's good. So, okay, let's do two more, then we'll go back. So then we had dog. The next one is cat, which I just did, and it's cat. So you make like your pointer finger and your thumb come together and pinch off the side of your cheeks. It's like the whiskers. Cat. I do think this one's cute. My little kids love it too, and I think it's just the cutest thing. I'm telling you, if you see like a little 5-year-old with their little like hands and they go cat, oh, it gets your heart going. You're just like, oh my gosh, that is the cutest thing in the world. So okay, our next one's gonna be fish. Now we did fish, I think, last week when we also did our food signs, and it's fish, fish. You can do open hand fish as well. I don't think I mentioned that last time, but I typically do the pointer hand. That doesn't really change the sign itself. But I caught myself doing it and I was like, I need to elaborate on that again. Fish, fish. Those are fine. Okay. So let's go back. We had animal, which was animal, animal. Then we had pet, pet. We had dog, dog, dog. We had cat, cat. And then we had fish, fish, fish. Okay. The next one we're gonna do is the sign for bird. And I think I'm gonna let me see if the list has it on the other side. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of condense them into the same area, bird and duck. It's on our list still. I'm just putting it over here. That's just me, because they're so similar. So the first one, bird, is going to be your pointer finger and your thumb, and you're just gonna make like that 20 motion, but on your nose, bird. I think we also did this one last week for chicken because it's the same sign. Chicken, bird. Then we have duck. Duck is going to be similar. It's instead of one pointer finger and a thumb, it's going to be two fingers and your thumb. Duck, duck. The best way I think about it is that with this, it's like birds. I was thinking about like birds eating their like pecking, like when they go pecking for their corn and stuff, like bird. And then duck has a more flatter, that flatter bill. Duck, duck. Okay. I am gonna pause. Oh, yes, yes. Most of the other birds do not. Actually, this is a perfect leeway into what I was gonna start explaining because I realized I was like, let me explain this real quick. So when you're talking about different types of dogs, like different like huskies, labs, German shepherds, all of those, unfortunately, like most of them you do finger spell. They do not have their own sign or their name sign for any of those types of special kinds of dogs. And so that kind of goes for a lot of things. Like if you're talking about I always like to say, I think like a yellow bellied lizard or something like that. I always kind of not make up, but I know there's something out there called a yellow bellied lizard. But you wouldn't have like there's not this whole new sign for them. You would still just do like the sign yellow and then like belly or fingerspell bellied and then lizard. So I always like to say the more specific you get with the kinds of pets or animals you're talking about, the more likely you're going to have to fingerspell things. And so with birds as a whole, duck does have its own. But excuse me, things like quail, I've not seen like quail. Eagle does have one actually, and it's eagle. It's like an X and it's on your nose, eagle. Um, and then I'm trying to think if there's any other like penguin does have one, which we will get to. I'm going very broad right now in my mindset. Um, like I haven't really seen one for ostrich, but that's also because, ostrich,
Is there a
there's
turkey? Is turkey the
Yes,
Yeah,
there
okay.
is turkey. I love how I said no, bird is the only one. And then I'm sitting here going, you know what? Actually, I'm wrong. The more I think about it, it's because I'm initially thinking about like, oh,
You know
all of
what
it.
though? I think it's because we eat it.
Yes. My brain is thinking that.
If we they're not words for like cheetah, hyena, like very specific. Well, hyena's not
Hmm.
a good one, but there's not like a snow leopard sign.
Exactly. Um, so I know we just threw a lot. We're just gonna do, what we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it with their little kingdoms right now. We're gonna stay in the bird kingdom for a minute. Now that we're in this, I just was like, this is making more sense to do it this way. So we had our bird. Then we had our duck, which is the two fingers, duck. We're gonna add our turkey, and turkey is going to be, you're gonna have like the back of your hand under, and it's like that Q shape, and you go back and forth. Turkey, turkey. Then we have penguin. Penguin is going to be, oh, I always hate when I do that. You're gonna stand and you waddle, basically. You full blown waddle for penguin. It's the cutest thing in the world. Even if you're like having a very like you're teaching a lesson. Oh, I love it when the kids stand up and they're like wanting to talk about penguins. They will literally fully stand up and still waddle for penguin. It's adorable. Okay. And then I was trying to think of another bird. We had eagle. There it is. Eagle. Thank you. Eagle. So those are the five typical, more like often you will see. or like see signs for. Things like the different types of birds that we see more generalized, like a hummingbird, a cardinal, a red bird, a blue jay, those you would fingerspell or add the color. So like a red bird, blue jay would be that blue with the Jay bird. So yeah, you're right. It is the food ones that we besides eagle. Eagle is different, but I think eagles because that's our like country's like bird. I think that's why that one we see that one a lot more. But the other four for sure. Besides penguin, penguin's cute. Oh, I'm just changing up. I love saying, "Oh, yeah, definitely this." I'm like, wait, no, gotta change it for this one. It's like the I before E, except after C, except for, and then there's all these extra words that
Yeah,
it
there are all
doesn't.
kinds of exceptions.
Exactly. Okay, so we now done our little birds. We're now gonna go to our reptiles because that's the next element for me. Um, the first one we're gonna do is the sign for snake. And so for snake, you're gonna have a V, you're gonna bend them, you're gonna put it in front of your mouth, and then you go snake. Snake for its slithering and its tongue. Snake. All right. So then let's see, where's any more? Okay. Alligator. Alligator and crocodile are the same signs, okay? And it's alligator. So you do have the full arm. You would make that motion that we typically do when we think of alligators. If you wanted to differentiate between a crocodile and an alligator, typically, like what I do is I leave this for alligator, and then I will do this and then go croc. Because that one's we shorthand crocodile to crocs before, so that's how I usually will separate the two. You can also just fingerspell. I was going to say describe, and I was like, no, because that gets complicated because we have not talked about serrated teeth and jaws, and it gets that's just the teacher in me coming in for a minute there. So definitely just I would fingerspell if you're not sure. Okay. The next one we're gonna do is we're gonna do lizard. Okay. Lizard is gonna have your non-dominant arm sideways. Your dominant hand's gonna be in this L shape, and you're going to slither your L up your hand. Lizard. 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 And unfortunately, that's like the only one really related with like geckos and newts and chameleons and salamanders. Those you typically fingerspell, but a lizard, lizard has its own. Okay, let's see. The next one we're gonna do is frog slash toad. This one's very similar to how we do with like alligator, where you sign both, but if you wanted to really emphasize that you're talking about a specific one, I would fingerspell toad. Frog is like the alligator to it, if that makes sense. So for frog, you're going to have the V, you're going to have them kind of closed, stick your back of your hand under your chin and flick them out. Frog, frog, frog. And this one is definitely like well, why can't I ever think of this every time? When they go ribbit. When they go ribbit, that's my best thing. I know that is a terrible description of it. I cannot think of the word of what it is when they croak. When they croak, there it is. So, okay, we had frog. Let's hold and go back because I know we've just thrown a lot right now. So we're gonna go back to our birds real quick because I know we like started those and I don't think we've reviewed them again. So we had obviously our bird, then duck, duck. We had turkey, turkey. And then we had our penguin, which was penguin, the hand sticking out, kind of waddling, penguin. And then our eagle, eagle. Then we had moved on to our snake, which was that V bend and it bent, and then snake, snake, snake. Okay. Then we also had our alligator slash crocodile, alligator. Then we had our lizard, which was non-dominant arm, dominant arms in the L shape. and go lizard. And then we had our frog slash toad. Frog. Frog. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some bugs. There's not many, there's a few though. The generalized sign for bug is going to be the number 3. You're going to put your thumb on your nose and then you're going to bend your fingers. Bug. Bug. And this one is probably one of the funniest ones to
I
me.
really love this one.
I mean, especially when you just feel like you're like pushing your nose in. It's just like, even though you're not like you're just, at least to me, I see it every time I make this motion. I just see my nose going like bouncing back. And I'm like, that is just a crazy sign to me. But this is bug. Um, though sometimes, so I have seen, usually I see people just generalize this as bug as a whole, but there are some specific bugs that will have more like, I guess like local signs, where some people will use these. One of the ones I see that is a little bit more often than others is the sign for bee, which I used to just go bee, because that's very simple. But I do see this one pretty often, and it's going to be bee, bee. So it's like it stings you and then you like slap it because it hurts. That's like the best way to describe it. B. B. The next one I have is spider. So spider is going to have your non-dominant hand kind of bent down, like 5's bent down, dominant on top same way, and then you wiggle your fingers. Spider. Spider. I think this one's very cute, even though I don't like spiders. I'm indifferent to them. They are good for houses. They get rid of other
It's an
things.
excellent visual. Like it
It is.
really
Like you're not going to question what they're talking about. If they show you they're like going big, they make this big motion and then they go spider, you're going to know exactly what they're talking about.
Oh yeah, I like spiders, but I don't like need to see them.
Exactly. I'm like, do your job, but just don't do it in my line of vision, please and thanks. So then our next one is going to be yes.
Is there a word for this for when you is there like is that a thing?
Yes. And I'm
'Cause
trying to remember.
didn't we talk about bus? Isn't bus? Yeah.
It can be because some people do bus with the two B's and they do it on top or BUS. It's
Mhm.
like that circular motion of the wheels and the
Yeah. And with
um
B, you just went like
yeah, I
B.
just slid it
Yeah.
across. I'm trying to remember. I usually say like they're fluid signs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's what I more typically call them. I know they have a specific name for them and I cannot think of it right now. Like it's literally, and I had this conversation with my coworkers like last week talking about these signs and I cannot think of them. Um, but yeah, it's basically, I call it a fluid sign because you are still spelling out the word, but it has some sort of relation with it. And it's usually very shorthand words like bus, where it's that BU and that circular bus. Trying to think of another one. Let's see. So like I said, bus. That's like my best one I always think of because it's very like, I mean, I'm making that you see, I'm even making a
I know,
circular
I was
motion.
just trying to remember what the class was. I feel like we were doing places or something. Like maybe it was we were probably doing things like fire trucks and
I'm trying
and that
to
came up, but I
remember.
don't remember what the other
Oh, that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna think of these probably later tonight and be like, oh,
Yeah.
that's right. That's another one. But yeah, bus is a good one. B is another one where it's very smooth. It's not even just like a full on like B-E-E where I'm finger spelling it. It's B. Um, Ant is more that finger spell, but it's like fast B-A-N-T. If you were going to talk about different types of bugs like that, like an ant, a cockroach, roaches, whatever, you would do the sign for bug and then finger spell. So ant, bug, ant. I'll give you the sign for stink bug because I think that's an important one. Um, because we had a stink bug in my classroom today. It was not fun. I was like, "Do not kill this bug, please." And they're like, "It's." I'm like, "No. It will make our lives worse. I'm gonna take it outside safely." So for stink bug, you just do the sign for stink, and the sign for stink is literally what we think of stink, stink bug, stink bug. And that's why I was like, I have to show y'all this one, stink bug. I just think it's funny because like this is full. I mean, This is where I love when there's certain things that we and when like when we're talking English or we just kind of make a motion or gesture that still is correct in ASL, and where we always are like pu stinky. Same concept in ASL, stink. Okay. The next one we're going to talk about is the sign for rat slash mouse. They are the same sign. It is going to be one pointer finger and you brush it across your nose. Mouse, rat, mouse. You do want to make sure you do it one time kind of deal, unless you're doing like full on, like going back and forth. Because if you do it like this, that can look a little bit similar to the mind. So you want to make sure you do a full mouse rat. Now with this, I always like to add here, if you were going to talk about Mickey Mouse, the character, you would not fingerspell Mickey and then go mouse. Mickey Mouse has its own sign and it's Mickey Mouse with the ears, Mickey Mouse. That can also is also the same sign for Disney World. So you would do Disney and then the sign for world, which is two W's. You're gonna put them on top of each other and go in a circle, like we did with the year world. So Disney World. Okay. The next one we have is turtle. There are two with this one. One is turtle and one's sea turtle. So the first one is you're gonna have your dominant hand and a thumbs up. Your dominant hand, the back of it. So your pinky is gonna come towards the back of the thumb. Okay. And then you wiggle your finger. Turtle. I'm obsessed with this one. It's literally my favorite. Absolutely favorite. All time, hands down. Turtle. Okay. The next one we have is then sea turtle. So for sea turtle, you're going to have your non-dominant palm down with your dominant on top. So the thumbs are sticking out. And then you move them in a circular motion and sea turtle. Sea turtle. I think I also like this one because it's so visual. Okay. The next few are going to be, I'm looking, trying to see if we have any more water-like animals. No, I think we'll be good. Okay. So the next one's going to be our land animals. Jump in different topics. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is tiger. So tiger is you're going to have these open fives, but they're slightly bent. You're going to bring them to the front of your face and you're going to pull out. Tiger, tiger, tiger. It's like making the stripes on the face. Tiger. Then we have lion. Lion is going to be a giant open C, kind of finger slightly open as well, but it is like that C shape. And you're going to go lion. And you just slightly shake it as you go over your head. And it's because you're describing the mane of there being lots and lots of hair sticking up kind of deal. Lion. Lion. Then you will do. Sorry, the reason I said that is because I was thinking if someone asked, how would you do a lioness, a female lion, because they don't have the mane. And I was going to say, you will do this. And then I was like, wait a minute. I just said the same thing and blended. What you would do if you're talking about a male or female, any kind of animal, is you would add that man, that woman kind of thing. That is still also the same signs for male and female. So if you were talking about a female lion, a lioness, you would still do female lion. You would still make that lion shape. So I know probably no one was asking, but that was what was in my mind. I was thinking, I could see someone asking that. All right. The next one we have is bear. Bear is going to be two fives, and you're going to cross your arms and kind of pull from your shoulders. Bear. Bear. And so with bear, we have the polar bear, grizzly bear, black bear, brown bear. Typically, black bear and brown bear, you can do the colors. So brown, black. Sometimes I do see white bear for polar. I like to be a little bit more specific and fingerspell polar bear. But I also work with kids, so they're more used to saying, oh, it's a white bear. With grizzly, you would fingerspell grizzly. There is not a specific sign for grizzly bear. The next one we have is cow, which we also did, I believe, when we did food last week. So we had cow with the two hands, the Y's, cow, cow. And there's also the one hand, cow, cow. Okay. Our next one is horse. So for horse, you're going to have two threes. You're going to put your middle and your pointer finger together, put your thumbs on your head, and go horse. And it's like the ears. This one you can also do the one hand horse. Okay. Our next one is monkey. Monkey is super simple. It is monkey. It's what we've always thought when we were always trying to describe a monkey. So monkey. Then we have gorilla. And gorilla is going to have two A's and you're going to beat your chest. So think King Kong. That's my best way. Gorilla. Then we have giraffe. Giraffe is going to be an open giant C. You're going to have your head kind of tilted up. You're going to start at the base of your neck and slide up and keep going. Giraffe. And it's making the motion of the very long neck. It just keeps going. Giraffe. Then we have elephant. Elephant is you're going to have the back of your hand touch your nose and you're going to go elephant. Elephant. So this is the shape of the trunk. Elephant. Elephant. Then we have pig, which we did last week as well. It's the back of your hand is under your chin. It's full fingers and you bounce them. Pig. Pig. I can also, I've also seen this one used for hog. Hog. I also just kind of, for those, it kind of depends on you really being that specific if you want to talk about a hot pig or a hog. I've seen both. It's the same thing, like I've said, with certain other animals that are very similar. Just depends on how specific you want to be. Then we have, I think, a few more. And then what I'll do is we'll do some sentences. And then after that, I'll leave it open for any questions because I know it's just you. So the next one we have is zebra. Zebra is going to be 4 fingers. You can do 5. I'm just going to do 4. And you're going to start on opposite sides and make stripe motions. So it's like coming across. Yeah. So it's like on top of each other and then you slide to make stripes. Zebra. Hold on. Let me stand up for this one. Oh gosh, I hate the stripe. So it's like I'm starting here and I'm sliding them across. Zebra. Zebra. So it's like the stripes. Yeah. Zebra. It's an interesting zigzaggy one. But if you looked at a zebra, they're very zigzaggy with those little stripes everywhere. And then let's see. Okay. So then our next one's going to be butterfly. Butterfly is going to be what we do for bird. If you think when we do like hand puppets or like shadow puppets, yeah. Butterfly. Butterfly. Then we have owl. Owl's going to be 2 O's and it's owl. Owl. Okay. Last 4. The next one is wolf. So for wolf, I'm going to turn sideways a little so you can see. You're going to start with the 5 on your face and you're going to pull it out and close. Wolf. Now, the reason I turn sideways is it's really important you do make sure you go out and not go down. Down is sleep. So you don't want to say, oh, I saw a wolf, and then say I saw sleep. I could see that being very confusing. So wolf. Think about the snout. That's the best thing I say is think about the snout with that one. Wolf. The next thing we have is deer. Deer is going to be 2 5s, and you're going to put them on the side of your head. Deer. Okay. And then deer. And then our final, no, not our final. I keep saying that. It's because the last one is more explaining of how you would sign it. That's why I keep saying that. So our next one's going to be fox. So fox is going to be an F. And you're going to put your nose right here and go fox. Fox. Fox.
Okay, I always forget about that one, and that is the cute. I love that one. It's just so cute.
Oh, I know. Every time I'm always like, that is just, I always think it's just the cutest thing in the world. Again, it's up there with my turtles and my penguins. Can't help it. Now, the last thing I have before the
Wait,
sentence.
what if we discovered that you only knew cute signs for cute animals? Hmm?
Oh, that would change a lot of things.
Yeah, I know. I gotta think about that. I'm gonna come back next week with some gotchas, some ugly animals that should have signs.
Even then, they'll probably still be, there's probably still cute ways of signing them. There could be some really, I
That's
mean,
probably true.
there's some really ugly birds and you still got birds. This it's just the way your face, I feel like your facial expression would have to show like it was a bird and it was, yeah, like just making like, it was a bird. The last thing I have is if you're talking about baby animals. Okay. And for baby animals, if you're talking about a puppy, a kitten, any of those, what's really nice is where in English we like to change it. So instead of it being a dog, it's a puppy. Instead of being a cat, it's a kitten. In ASL, you would just still sign dog and then you just add baby. So dog, baby. Hmm. Very simple, which I appreciate because that's just, if you're trying to remember two different signs for two of the same species, I think it can get a little crazy on there. But yeah. Okay. So the few phrases we have is my favorite animal is. And so what you would do is obviously we have my that we've done before. My favorite, I think we did this one last week when we talked about food. It's going to be your middle finger is on your chin. Favorite. My favorite animal. Now, with this, I'm going to kind of show two different ways you can do it. I think I've done this before and I'm just going to show it again. So the first one is going my favorite animal and then signing it dog. So my favorite animal, dog. The other one is where you can add that what sign inside of it. So my favorite animal, what? Dog. Um, Either way works. I've caught myself doing the second one more times with the what, adding that. It's like saying like that's my favorite, like just emphasizing that's what I'm saying is my favorite animal is this.
Yes, that totally makes sense that you're emphasizing. Is the
Yes.
word.
No, exactly. Well, see, I was trying to sit here and I was like, what's the word I'm trying to think in English to describe that? And I can't think of it. I think I've said it before. My English is dropping, my ASL is gaining a bit.
Well,
So
that works for our current purpose
it really
because
does.
Alexis and I both know English really well.
You're like, I can figure out what she's saying. I can gather it. I can catch it. Okay. The next one is saying I'm allergic. So if you're talking about being allergic to an animal, so again, I'm gonna show you two different ways. One is more ASL versus like that English. Um, English, I can see this one. I say I have a tendency to see a little bit more often, but that is just because I think a lot of people were just used to sometimes going into that English structure. Whereas ASL is like it's fully a different structure. So I'm gonna show you both. Okay. So the first one is me allergic. Oh, wait, I didn't even show the sign for allergic. I'm just going ahead and signing it. Allergic is you're going to have your pointer fingers kind of together in front of your nose and you pull them apart. Allergic, allergic. This is allergies as well. Allergies. You don't have to go as grand and as wide. I'm just kind of being a little dramatic with it. It's like allergic. So me allergic. So you can say me allergic cats. Um, which I'm not, but I just thought I'd say that. I'm not allergic to animals that I know of, so I'm like, I can't think of one. I'm just gonna pick one. The other way you can sign it is you would go cats, me, allergic. So you would start with the subject, that cats.
And you're saying that one is the more ASL. That's the way
Yeah.
you would do it.
Mhm. You kind of end with that. So you still have the topic of what you're talking about, which is cats. And then you're kind of coming with the support of saying, I'm allergic. That's kind of the thing with it. Where, because in English, sometimes we have a lot of words we explain before we even get to like our content of what's the core thing is like, well, cats, what are you allergic to? Cats, that sort of thing. In English, those sentences can get really easy to forget where you were starting from. So The next one is I like or I don't like. I think we did this one a little bit with food, but we're going to do it again. So for I like, it's me. And then like is your middle finger and your thumb. You're going to start kind of on your chest and pull it out and pinch. Like, like, like. If you were saying you don't like, yeah, like foxes, yeah, exactly. If you were gonna say you don't like something, there are two ways again for this. The first one is you go like and then throw it away. I don't like, I don't like, don't like. And you have a little bit of attitude with it. I'm gonna be real here. Like you're not just going, oh, I don't like it. It's like, I don't like that. No. Ugh, throwing it away. The other way is you can go not like, not like. So not that thumb under our chin, not like, not like. I don't like. Like I've said before, both work. I've seen both be used often too. So it kind of I see both of them happen. So it's not like one stronger than the other. All right, the next one is I need. So need is that hook X, and you're gonna tap it. Need. This is also similar to must. I must, and must is typically like I use it for more one hand, one tap. Must. I need. I must. That. Ooh, that's a good sentence. You should be using that on your husband. I must have another kitten.
Throw me out. I can only use it here. This is my only safe space to talk about a kitten.
Oh, I'm pretty bad. My habits are pretty bad. It's I never will turn away an animal. It's a problem. My history track record as a kid was out of the 5 we had growing up, I was the reason for 4 of them. And I think only 2 of those of the 4 were even planned. Like we had discussed going and getting a pet. The rest were not. And that was, yeah,
The best
yeah,
things in life come with spontaneity, you know?
exactly. Actually, one of the 4 had was planned. The other one, the one other that it was not my fault, was not planned. Yeah, or no, was planned. My sister planned. I got that cat for her birthday. She wanted the cat. There was 5 of them. The oldest one, that one was planned. That was the dog. This second dog we found, and I was like, "Please, mom," and she said, "Okay." And then the third one was the cat that my sister asked for her birthday, so that was planned. Then it was another cat when I was 16 that was a stray kitten, and I was like, again, "Please, mom," like begging her, and she said, "Fine." And then our dog, the last dog, who was not planned at all, and I was 18. So yeah, of the 4 that were my fault, only 1 was planned. The other 3 were not. So yeah, my track record's pretty bad over there.
Okay, let me ask this. Um, you're getting a little bit like Henry VIII there, but I recognize that you're actually giving them life, so okay. But did you say must is 1? Okay.
Mhm. Yes. Because must and similar are very like must and need are very similar. So it's that same way. I will use this for need, whereas use this for must. Um, because both of them, the meaning is still there. Meaning is still the same. It needs to be I must do this, I need to
I
do
see
this.
what you're saying. Okay, 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 okay.
I sometimes like to slightly differentiate only because to me it's a difference, like more
Yes.
severe of a difference, that kind of thing. So if it's don't need, you just add the not need, not need, not need, not need. Okay. Want. So our want was we start with 5 hands away from us and we bend them as we bring them towards us. Want. Want. Okay. Want. Um, the other one, don't want, similar to like. So we had the want, then throw it down. Want, throw it down. Or you could do don't want, not want, not want. Okay. The last 2 I have, what was that? The last 2 I have was more and then less. So more is more, kind of those flat circles, more. more. And then the next one, less, is you kind of start wide and then you bring it down. Less, less, less. So, okay. I'm going to ask Alexis, do you have any questions or any signs you are curious of? Since we have gone through this whole list and you are our lovely Get Special 101 time. I'll fix that list there. Nope, no, you cannot. I'm sorry, my dog was trying to get up on my lap and I'm just like, nope, putting her down. um Yes. Okay, good question, Alexis. So, yes, if you're talking about multiple animals, like I did for like when I was talking about my dogs, you could put the sign in front of it or behind. There's no different sign for quantity of animals. Like how we add that ES or that S, that's just embedded when you're talking about the amount. So like for me, when I'm talking about, like if I'm describing how many pets I have, like when I was doing my family's growing up pets, and I went like all of this 5 when I started listening. If I was gonna say my family pets, I would tap here and go like these 2 dogs, cat, or I'd go cat, like tapping both of them, cat, dog. So I would say like 3 dogs, 2 cats, adding that number before. You should definitely try, and that'd be funny because that'd be the one sentence. So I was reading that one. That's what I laughed at first because I looked down and I just started
Okay, I
giggling.
think I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yay!
So I have not seen a sign for scorpion. That does not necessarily mean that there's not one. I have a really good gut feeling that in Arizona, there's probably a sign for a scorpion. Um, it's kind of interesting how sometimes just like depending on the area of like location wise will kind of vary in the signs. Like I don't know if I've had this, we've talked about this before, so I'm gonna kind of explain a little bit here. When with signs is that you know how in English, even in English, we have dialects, we have different accents, we have different things that kind of vary depending on state to state, or like the north versus south, east versus west kind of deal. And that is the same thing in ASL. And so, for example, I think I mentioned this maybe when we talk about food. For example, for ketchup, here in Alabama, I see ketchup more. It's the circle, it's like a 9, and it's like a circular motion on the cheek. Ketchup, similar to like fruit. But I have one coworker, friend who is from Tennessee, and she was ketchup because of the bottle and how the old motion of that ketchup. And I mean, that's just a state difference. That's just one state away. And they have a different signs. And so a couple of different areas will have signs for things that maybe we have signs for things that we see here more often versus signs that like the North may never see. Like they don't see these kinds of animals or these kinds of things. It kind of varies depending on the state. I wish I had more specifics, but I'm trying to think of what is a sign we've seen here, but not in other states. I'm trying to think. I was actually having this discussion with
Or
another
like
coworker.
Vulcan or something like that, you know, like
Yeah,
or
like
well,
because Vulcan, I think, is finger spelled, but
you have
but
got to tell me Vulcan doesn't have a sign?
I
Vulcan
know
is my
that we'll
sign.
describe like the statue, you know, and go Vulcan. Yeah.
I'm so upset right now.
Oh, I know exactly what I'm thinking. The towns, like when I talked about Huntsville, and you know, we had Montgomery, and
Mhm.
there'll be all those different cities have signs. Um, those signs that you may sign to people in a different state are gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like that's just not a known generalized sign because it's a locational sign. So there are varies of that. And so I'm always curious. I would love to one day go to one of the other schools for the deaf, maybe around in the West, and actually like go visit and just pick and like ask them, what's the sign that y'all use here? Just out of curiosity more than anything. Because I feel like they've got to have a sign for like a scorpion or a specific sign for other animals that we maybe not see here at all, but they see a ton of. So, but yeah. Any other questions you may have? Okay. Well, since we've kind of gone through our whole list, what I think we'll do is we'll just kind of end early. Since that way we're not just holding you here saying we're gonna throw more signs at you. No, we'll stop here. Um,
I mean, Alexis has not, she's not spent all her money on this class for nothing. She needs to get her money's worth out of the next,
every minute,
yeah.
every minute, right on the dot. Um, but if you do think of any other questions you have, definitely you can save them for next week, or you can message Miss Katie and
Yep.
she'll let me know. I think next week, I think we're gonna do a feelings. Is that I think our
We have
big
feelings and emotions and descriptors.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do those next week, and then our last class, right? Will be kind of a hodgepodge of
Yes.
a bunch of different things. So that
Mm-hmm.
will be a really good one to ask for different specific area of science you're curious of as well. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of y'all's week, and I'll see
Thanks.
you all next Tuesday. Bye, guys.
Bye, Alexis.